Hi, come on in. Come on in. I don't know about where you are, but we got rain again. And I got to tell you something. I am loving it, especially with all the stuff I've been doing outside just around the corner, right? We have a bunch of stuff to cover today. I have a small order, maybe a dozen items. I think you'll get a kick out of this particular order, but it also won't surprise you any. We're going to talk about what I've been doing just around the corner since the last video, which was about, what, 4 days ago? And we're going to talk a little bit more about Temu, specifically shopping local warehouses, some issues you guys are telling me about cashing out and whatnot. We're going to go over some few things, so hopefully it will clarify for you. And we also have a little bit of good news about Temu, right? We could all use a little bit of good news. So I got my Temu butterfly shirt on. I got my Temu hat on. I got my Temu fluorescent earrings on. These are my Firmoo glasses, by the way. Hey, if you guys haven't checked out Firmoo, FIRMOOOOMG, even with, I'm just blowing this up because I just love these glasses. You guys see me wearing them all the time, right? Because they're lightweight. I've dropped them. They don't scratch. They have a little bit of glare protection on them. They have that computer like bluegrass. I have a special prescription because of astigmatism that I have. And I only paid like $50 for frames, lenses, delivery, everything. So guys, if you haven't checked out Firmoo yet, by all means, check them out. All right. These were cheaper than if I had used my Medicare coverage to get glasses. Honest to God. Anyway, I just love the glasses. That's why. But I'm just sharing with you where I got them. So for you guys that are new, hi, you've just come into Connie's little corner, and yes, I'm still Connie. Yeah, thankfully. I don't think I'll ever change, right? I'm hoping I never change. But anyway, let's get into this Temu order. I'll give you a hint. It's a really narrow, thin package, but there's a lot of stuff in here. So I'm going to pull it all out and I'm going to put it on the table in front of me, actually my desk. And I'm going to work off the desk, make sure I got everything out of here. Okay. Are you ready for this? I hope y'all had a good weekend. Right. This was $1.84. Now I'm going to tell you something. These are all different sizes. Some of them are wood, some are metal. That's a hint. You know what's coming? Right. More signs. If my dog makes you uncomfortable, I'd be happy to lock you up in the other room. My dog lives here. Very rarely do I ever even offer to close him up into the bedroom because this is his home and he loves people. And if there's anybody that's afraid of Mr. Levi, they simply have never met a well trained dog, regardless of breed. So there you go. I will confine you to the porch. That might be the other room. You might not be allowed to come into the house if you're that afraid. We'll sit and chat on the porch with conversation wall. Right? Okay. Is that wrong? Not for me. Not for dog lovers. All right. The next one says, well-behaved women rarely make history. This was $1.37. It does come with a little hanging string. But you know me on my front porch, I don't hang anything on the string. This is actually a wooden sign. It's balsa wood. It's not metal. So I don't know how long it will hold up outside in the dampness, so to speak, and in the weather. But you know what? For $1 and change, I'm not worried about it. What I am worried about is anybody who thinks I'm a well-behaved woman. Not. It's no fun to behave. When I ask mom if she's been behaving, she'll say, no. And my typical answer is, good, glad to hear it. I don't want her to behave. I just want her to be her and have fun. And she taught me the same thing. This one was $1.93. Now, this one comes with two-sided sticky tape on it. Again, this one is made of balsa wood. It is spelled wrong, but I'm probably going to fix that with a little bit of whiteout. it said, I was taught to think before I act. So if I smack the crap out of you, rest assured I've thought about it and am happy with my decision. And you notice where it says I've, it's missing the E off of I have, I'ved. So I've thought about it. So I may put an E in there, cockeyed, or I might just leave it the way it is and make that conversation. What do you think? Should I make that missing E part of the conversation? Yeah. I don't know. It's too hard to decide. You know I love their signs, right? All right. This one, and by the way, this order is 99.9% signs for my porch. And I did order this prior to not being able to get anything direct shipped from Temu. It just took exceptionally long to get here. This one was $1.97. Again, it's wood and it's smaller. You notice these are not all the same big tin signs. This one says, a fact of life. After Monday and Tuesday, even the calendar says, what the frog? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but what the frog? I thought that was cute. I like it. We all say that, right? Okay. More. Hold on. I need some coffee. I'll give you an update on Mr. Levi too, because things are changing with him almost on a daily basis. And I know you worry about him as much as I do. This one was $2.34. This is another little wooden one. And this one says, you think I'm sarcastic? You should hear what I don't say. All right, y'all know me well enough to know I bite my tongue a lot of times, right? There you go. I have to bite my tongue. Mama always taught me to speak the truth, be honest all the time, be my own authentic self. But if I really can't say anything nice about somebody, then just don't say anything at all. So even when I try to say something sarcastic in order to get my point across about someone, sometimes I can't even be sarcastic. I just have to shut the front door. All right. This one had me cracking up. This was $1.74. How did I get this open? Oh, and this is another smaller wooden one. This says, you come from dust and you will return to dust. That's why I don't dust. It could be someone I know. It could be me. This comes with two-sided stickies, 4 two-sided stickies if you want to apply it with the stickies, but it also has the holes where you can either hang it. And of course, I will not use these. I will use my favorite double-sided tape, but yeah. I don't know if I'll keep this one in the house or not. This one might be a house sign. Let me know what you think. Should this be on the porch? Because I don't dust the porch, I hose the porch down. When the pollen gets on the windowsills and on the screens, I just turn the sprayer from the hose on it. And because all the furniture out there, except for the chest that I have that's covered in that nice cloth, it can all get wet. That chest can't get wet, but everything else can get wet. So I don't dust out there, but I do dust in the house. I'm thinking this might be a house sign. Give me your vote, yes or no, for keeping that in the house somewhere. Okay, more. Are you curious to what I'm going to tell you about Temu? Are you curious to what I'm going to tell you about Levi? Or what's been going on around the house? So you're curious about all of it? Who said that? I heard that. Who said that? $3.49. This is a metal sign. It says, my mouth has no filter. I say whatever I please. And most of the time, I'm just as shocked as you. Oh, come on. You guys are like this too. I know at least some of you are. And it's not that we don't think before we speak. It's just that when you speak spontaneously and you don't have a filter, you're speaking the truth. If you have to stop and think about what you're going to say and how you're going to phrase it and all that other kind of stuff, I don't worry about being PC. Being politically correct is it's in my wheelhouse, but yeah, I'd rather just blurt it out. Okay. More. There was 11 of these signs. There was one I ordered that was out of stock. I knew when I put it in my cart, because I've had my cart for more than a month before all this stuff happened. I knew it was low in stock and I might lose it, but I wasn't ready to check out, so I wasn't going to get it. This was $3.89. This is a big full-size metal one, and you can tell the metal ones are usually in the $3 range. This one says, my parents spanked me as a child. As a result, I now suffer from a psychological condition known as respect for others. Spare the rod, spoil the child is very true, right? Y'all know that? I've known this in my family. My brother Mark and I were spanked on a regular basis. We have a great respect for others. And the two of us, we didn't turn out, we don't have any narcissistic tendencies. Mark never had a big blown up ego. Both of us know how to handle criticisms and whatnot because we have that respect for others. We have that respect for others' opinions. We're a little thicker skinned. We don't take offense to somebody not liking us, or maybe they might say something bad about us because we don't have egos. Well, Mark didn't have an ego, rest in peace, my beloved brother. But yeah, I can't believe he's been gone 13 years already. Seems like just yesterday. So spanking, spank your child. It's not against the law. It's not child abuse if you give them an open-handed swat. Mark and I were spanked with everything from the household wicker broom to my dad's leather motorcycle belt. Never bare bottomed, but enough that it stung. Didn't leave any marks, but boy, did it get the point across. Okay. So this next one was $4.61. If I can get it out of this little bag. And this is a rectangular one. And you've heard me say this sometimes, so I had to get this sign. Because when something happens that I am totally dumbfounded about it, or I'm awestruck about it, what do I say? No freaking way. I thought it's cute. Way is in road, street, alley, avenue, boulevard. No freaking way. Kind of cute, right? I like it. That's all that matters. It's going on my conversation wall. And so far, there's only that one about dusting that I think should go in the house. All right. And the last one will tell you what all these signs are actually about. The purpose of all these basic signs. This was $3.82, and this is metal. And I can't think of anything more relaxing, more kind of in the spirit of making friends and being calm and just enjoying life than sitting out on the front of my house with all these signs and having a little bit of porch therapy. That's what it's all about. Session in progress. Anytime we're sitting out there, or I'm just sitting out there, or Levi and I are out there, porch therapy is like my go-to. That and doing my gardening and my yard work outside, getting my hands dirty and just putting myself into the outside area around my home. But sitting on the porch, thinking about what I got to do for the day, having my morning cup of coffee. I love sitting out there with a cup of coffee, my Sudoku book, just in my little glider, two-seated glider that I got, and having a little porch therapy. So that's the whole idea behind the community wall or the conversation wall is to have that. Oh, Levi gets caught. That was a weird sound. You all right, Mr. Lee? Go get a drink. Don't worry, that has nothing to do with his condition. Levi, as with most pit bulls, he has an elongated palate. And that causes, if he's chewing on anything or eating too fast, and he was chewing on his rawhide, if he's eating too fast and the saliva builds up, he has to clear his throat. That's what he does. He makes that weird sound. Okay, one more item. This is a biggie. Kind of a biggie. It comes in this cute little case, and this is a lithium mini 6-inch chainsaw. Nice little case. I love it. Very sturdy. I haven't checked it out yet because it's been raining. And I'm not going to go outside in the mud and the rain with a battery operated chainsaw. But it comes with all information on the tool. On the back, it has more information on the tool itself. It comes with a little pair of work gloves, and these are just the standard stretchy. Obviously, they're just to keep your hands clean, not to protect them from anything sharp or whatnot. It has the battery charger. I need another charger in the house, right? It comes with a little screwdriver, a little Phillips head screwdriver, so that you can tighten and adjust your chain as need be. It comes with a set of safety goggles. Now, typically I don't wear safety goggles simply because I have glasses, but I don't know if these will fit over my glasses. Oh my gosh, they do. Look at that. They fit right over my glasses. Not a great look, but you know what? If this will protect my own glasses from scratches and stuff, that's cool. I'm all right with that, right? It comes with not one, but two 21-volt rechargeable lithium batteries. And these are what they call a power share. I haven't charged any of them. Where's the charger plug? Where's the charger plug? I have to figure out where the charger plug is. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Is that not weird? It should be obvious where it is, but it's not obvious. Found it. Right in there. Plugs in like that. There we go. No wonder I couldn't find it. Okay, I kind of like that it's not on the outside. But 21 volt, two of them. I could have gotten the one that only had one battery, but I always like to have two batteries with any of the tools. It's got an extra chain, which I think is a great thing. And I do have a chain sharpener tool. And the tool itself, wow, this thing doesn't weigh anything. This is light. It has a chain guard, and this guard does not come off. All right, it stays on while you're running it. It's already got chain on it. Very, very securely. Everything is securely bolted together. Kind of like that. Power on, power switch. I don't think any of these batteries are charged. Let me get one on here. I love trying to do things the first time. Not. All right, hold on. Trying to figure out what the trick is to get it on. I don't know. I don't know. Let me try the other battery. They should just slide into place and not have to force them. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I had to push down this little release button back here in order to get it slid on, and then it'll slide off. So you push the start button. Oh, it's charged. You push this button down and hold it, and then you pull the trigger. See the chain? It goes. So this tells me this chain needs to be tightened up, which is something that I will definitely do before I use it, because it should not drop like that. See if I can tighten it up this way. There's a bolt tightener on the side. Make sure she's tight, a little bit tight. There is a track that it's supposed to go into. This is something I'll have to work on, obviously for packing, but I'm taking the battery out now that I know that it works because I don't want this thing going off until I have a chance to tighten the chain. So I'm okay with this. This whole thing probably weighs about as much as a loaf of bread. I mean, not even a pound, even with one of the batteries on it. So it's a complete set. Once I get the chain tightened up, it does have a track. I don't know if you can see that track in there. It has that little groove right there that the chain goes into. And then, of course, you tighten it up to hold it into the track. So we'll see what happens once I get that taken care of. So far, I like what I'm seeing. I like that the whole thing comes in the nice little carry case. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Everything can be stored in the carry case, which is also a bonus. I like that too. I'll let you know what happens. When Levi and I went out for our walk this morning, I did scope out quite a few uh, places along the side of the road where I could get some, what's the word I'm looking for? Like scrap wood from to use in the fire pit. So I was scoping that out. Oh, this went back in the case nicely. It's got the latches that flip up and then down. Really nice. The whole thing weighs less than a gallon of milk. So if you've ever picked a gallon of milk up on a finger and you know how heavy it is, this is about half that weight. So I don't think with the case and everything together that it weighs maybe 4 pounds. That's a project. It's going to be fun. All right. That's the order. Lots of signs. Oh, come on. I like signs. Pet signs, signs everywhere. A sign blocking up the scenery. They're not blocking the scenery. They're making the scenery on my front porch. All right. Let's talk about what's been going on just around the corner. Mr. Levi, update first on Mr. Levi. Mr. Levi has been on a liver medication called Denamarin, and it's liver support for liver function. He started that on the 2nd, so he's only been on it for a few days. Now, the liver, as you may or may not know, it can in humans, but in dogs, it really can regenerate itself. Even if a liverectomy is done where they take the section of the liver out, that liver in a matter of like 3 to 4 weeks, not months, weeks, will grow back. So the liver, as long as it's not highly infected or seriously full of cancer or whatever, will regenerate itself. Well, Denamarin is a great medication and it helps to do that in combination with the organ support food he's on, the iron supplements that he's getting, the heart medication to keep his blood pressure down so it doesn't have to work so hard. So when a dog has liver disease and you put him on a medication, what you're looking for is any changes in the behavior to know if the medication is working. Levi's only been on the medication now for 4 days, 3 days, 4 days. And already I'm seeing changes, good changes. His appetite has increased to the point that when he's hungry, he'll come over to me and he'll keep slapping me with his paw until I get up, and he'll look in the kitchen and he'll look at me, and he'll look in the kitchen and he'll look at me. And I'm like, okay, he wants food. Well, it might have only been an hour, 2 hours since I fed him, but I'm feeding him small meals, like the equivalent of like 1 cup every few hours. So I'll give him more food, and if he's hungry, he'll gobble it down. If he's not, he'll save it for later and eat when he's hungry. He's been up for about 2 hours this morning now, and he just ate his breakfast, but he had to go out. He has a routine. He had to go out and do his morning stuff. And let me tell you, that's changed too, because he's able to hold longer. He's not getting me up in the middle of the night anymore. He's letting me sleep now until about 7. Our last out is around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then he lets me sleep until 7. So I'm getting 8 hours sleep. He's getting 8 hours sleep. Neither of us are as stressed as we used to be. but his energy level is up too. In the mornings, he wants to play. He'll run back and forth through the house with his rawhide. He'll want to go on a walk. When we go outside, he'll look at the house and then he'll start walking in the opposite direction. So we'll take a walk and I let him decide where we want to go. He walks right next to me. He's very good on a leash. The leash is never taut. The leash is always relaxed and comfortable, laying across his back and has a little bit of draping. So he's excellent on a leash. We'll walk for as long as he wants to. I'll let him lead the way. He's part. But our walks are getting longer now. Now we're up to about a half hour. We were at 20 minutes. We're up to about a half an hour. Everything about him is better. His energy level is better. His attitude is better. His bark is better. His bark is stronger like it used to be when he's goes into protective mode and he sees, somebody walking their dogs too close to the house and he sounds off. It's like, whoa. It actually took me back. So I'm seeing an improvement since he started this medication, which is exactly what I should be seeing if it's doing what it's supposed to do. So he goes back for blood work in about 2.5, 3 weeks, and we'll see how his liver enzymes are doing. We'll also just do a regular CBC and see how all his functions are doing because they've been normal. The only thing that's been off has been his liver and his white cells a little bit, but we'll see what's happening. We'll see if this medication is helping his body to fight the cancer cells and kind of strengthen the liver and strengthen his organs. We're not going to get rid of the cancer, but we can keep it at bay. This is very slow growing. It has a big fancy name that the type of it is, and it's not like, it doesn't have to be a terminal cancer. It can be just a long-term body issue. But it's good news. Just the past few days, it's very encouraging what I've been seeing. So that's the news on Levi. News on Mama. Had a video call with her on Sunday. She's doing great. She's very happy. I gave her the news on Levi. She's very excited. Oh, and the vet did tell me that yes, he doesn't see any reason why I can't travel and go away for a few days. That even though Levi might be a bit stressed, it wouldn't be enough. He doesn't feel it would be enough stress to cause any issues or cause a setback. So I have started looking for an in-home pet sitter for Levi. Well, because I live in such a rural area, I'm having difficulty finding someone. So I'm going to talk to a few of my neighbors and find out, if they're willing to help me out in that way, because a lot of them already know Levi and they love Levi. And even if they don't stay here full time with them, at least because they're close, they can come in and out often enough. But I still want Gigi to come and take care of her boy. I'll pay for your airfare, Gigi. I'll put you up here at the house and then we can spend some time together and then I'll fly you back home. How does that sound? That's how much I trust her, guys, just by seeing Levi's reaction to her. Okay, let's talk about what else has been going on around the corner. I have been so busy outside. Now, you all saw that garden hose that I bought, that newer garden hose. It was 100 feet. And it had that hanging thing that came with it. And I said, I'm probably not going to use this. I'll just connect it to the other one. Well, because of the rain barrel, when I put the rain barrel in place, it has a spigot on one side to like a bucket filler. And then it has the connection on the bottom for the garden hose. So I said, you know what? Well, I'm just going to hook up that new hose to the rain barrel. And then I used the hanger and I attached it off to the side. I didn't want to put it on the steps because the steps are movable. So I attached it off to the side. So now my hose is right there because all my gardens and the seeding that I do in the lawn, everything out back, that's where the hose is needed. So now I have 2 garden hose setups outside. Thank you for that, Temu. I really appreciate you making that affordable. At the front of the house, I had gotten that roll of black garden edging, that 4-inch roll of garden edging. So I got that put around where the azaleas are and where the giant Musophilia cana are planted. And the canna have gone from little itty bitty buds to about an inch and a half in just a week. I don't know how fast they grow. I haven't looked it up. So if any of you guys know how fast this good Lord, hold on. Musifolia. There's the name of it right there. Musifolia. So if you all know how fast these might grow, let me know, because they're, as far as I'm concerned, they're growing like wildfire. But they do love rain, and we've had a lot of rain. So I got that garden edging in. And then I also added more cane. I found regular canna, not giant canna, but regular canna at the back of the house where the previous residents on this location had planted some. I transplanted that and I moved that next to the staircase to kind of finish the border. It's got like this little snake type area. So I've got those and they're coming out beautiful. They're already, most of them are almost, well, a couple of them are almost a foot high and the other ones are a few inches high. So they're all growing beautifully. What else did I do? Out back of the house by the rear walkway that goes to the side street, there was a clover patch, but with a little bit of extra flowers put in it. And if you look here, I'll do the before and after pictures. If you look here before, it was just kind of like messy and overgrown and had a lot of pine needles mixed in, a lot of unhealthy plants and whatnot. So I cleaned all that out. I got rid of everything in between. I pulled out all the plants that were dead or the grass that was growing in there. I moved things around a little bit. And then I framed it in the stones, in the gray type of gravel, to kind of set it off as a bed. So now that and the front of the house, that's all ready for mulch. So once things get high enough, once those cannas get to be about 4, maybe 5 inches tall, then I'll put the mulch around them because I don't want to bury them under the mulch. I need to make sure that they're up enough before I put the mulch on them. So I'll get the mulch put on those. I'll get the mulch put on the clover bed. And those clover, beautiful little pink flowers when it's sunny, but right now you can't see anything because it hasn't been sunny out. We haven't had sun for a few days, so the blooms aren't opening. And the really tall plant that you see next to it has gorgeous little purple blooms on it. So we're looking good there. And then the barrel lamppost garden, you saw the 2 little hosta shoots. I found irises at random on the property. So I dug up the iris plants and I said, you know what? The irises will grow tall enough that the hostas, I can keep the hostas thinned out if I need to, but I thought they would look beautiful together. I don't know what color irises they are, but I did recognize the tubers on the bottom of it, the little mini bulbs with tubers and the leaves. So I put the 3 iris plants in there along with the hostas. And I added more hosta seeds because I figured, you know what? Let the hostas start sprouting in there and then I can move them to where I need them. So I added probably about 30 hosta seeds into the pot, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll generate enough hosta that I can use that as a starter pot. I don't know, but I think it's going to look great once it's done. It already looks better just having those flowers in there. I also, just this morning, put the Lily of the Valleys into the container. And this is another one of those really unique planters that I had. It looks like a red metal glass elongated teapot. But I put the Lily of the Valley in there and it's up on the chest out on the front porch where you can tell because of the signs behind it. So I put probably about 30 seeds in there. And again, I can transplant as needed into other pots, but they get thick and lush with a lily of the valley. When it's overcrowded, it tends to get bigger and push out longer shoots where they actually drape over and become a more almost like a hanging plant. I had them back in New York. I loved them that way. And because this particular planter is tall and thin, thought it would look nice. So those are planted. That's a start. I did a lot of seeding the prep to seed the lawn. I've got my hand seeder, I've got my bag of seed ready to go today. Sometime today, my bale of straw should be arriving. Um, I had hoped they would come on the same day because with the rain we're supposed to be getting the next few days, I wanted to get the seed down. So if the straw comes today while we have a break in the rain, I'll get out there and start seeding a section at a time and putting some straw down. I'll do a little at a time depending on the weather, but hopefully in the today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week, I'll get all that seed put down for as much seed and straw as I have, and we'll see what happens. Now, this particular seed, they say that in about 10 days, you start to see the green popping up through the straw, and in about 3 weeks, it's ready to mow. That's fast. So we'll see what happens. Cross your fingers, right? Because I would love to go from the dirt that's out the back to nice lawn. And I am going to do it in sections because we have to have a place to walk. And I don't want to walk over the straw or have Levi doing his business, where the seed is supposed to be starting to germinate and grow. So bit by bit. I also raked up all the pine needles from the front of the house and the side of the house, and I'll show you the pictures. And that's in the preparation to seed the bare spots. I'll seed the side of the house at 1.2. That side, I'm not too worried about it because that's a traffic side, and we usually don't go over there, so that'll probably be done last. But I'll do a little bit of patch in the front. That'll be the first thing I do today is I'll go out and patch the front part with a little bit of seed and a little bit of straw, get that patched, and then start working on the bigger spots in the backyard. So as you can see by this pile along the side of the house, I have an enormous amount of pine needles. And you're saying, like, what are you going to do with those pine needles? Well, I ordered from Temu 2 raised garden beds, and they're both 48 inches long. They're going to be used in the back twofold. They're going to hide the white drain pipe that's above ground. I am going to take my tin snips and I am going to custom cut the one end of each of those so that I can put them together and make one big long one, but it's not straight, which is why I had to get 2. It has a 45-degree angle in it. So I'll bring one down and then put the other one next to it, give both of them a little curve, bolt them together and make one big long bed, the garden bed. And so that will have the gravel that you saw from the gravel pile down in the bottom, and then layers upon layers of these pine needles, which will turn into amazing mulch. All that will help with drainage. Plus, it will all protect the pipe from breaking, and it'll insulate the pipe so that when winter comes, even though we don't get to freezing here, it'll still give some protection to that pipe. But if we need to get to the pipe, it's easy enough to just tip the garden bed over and expose the pipe to take the metal frame off, because it's not going to be secured to the ground. It's just going to be on the ground. So that's the whole idea, something portable and accessible if we need to. If I got veggies growing in there and there's a problem, I can always dig the veggies out, put them on a tarp till everything's done, and then hopefully transplanting them and just transplant them back. So that's getting ready to go. So in one of them, I was gifted by my neighbor an entire pot that he started from seed with about 10, 15 watermelon plants. And when he brought them to me just 3 days ago, 3 days ago on Sunday, when he brought them to me, they were only about an inch tall. Now they're 2, 3 inches tall. So they are growing beautifully. The soil here is just perfect. So when I get the beds done, one of those beds is, maybe even both of them, is going to be all watermelon, because I do want to spread them out, and that can be my watermelon patch. That'll be my start for this year. But my tomato plants that I showed you that I had when I first got them about a week ago, they were only about 5 inches tall. They're now about 10 inches tall, and the first one actually has a flower on it. So I will be getting those into the ground in the next couple of days. You saw the trellis that I ordered. I had to get a reship on that, which I did. We'll talk about, if I remember, we'll talk about that when we talk about the warehouse or the local warehouses. But instead of them sending me the missing parts, they're sending me a whole new 6-foot trellis setup. So I'll actually have almost 9 feet of trellis if I need it, which is wonderful. I like that idea. So the tomatoes are not going to go in that raised garden. The tomatoes are going to go around the clean out trap, which with that trellis on top of them. And I know it's hard for you guys to understand, but I will show you a picture of what I've done. So that's my veggies that I'm starting with this year. Tomatoes and watermelons. Two of my favorite things. I was able to get into the shed, do a little bit more organizing in the shed, empty a couple of more storage bins, make some more room in there, which is good that I'm getting there. What else? Oh, the weeder. That weeder stick. You guys have to watch this. All right. I can't believe how well this worked and how sturdy this thing is. So I did a little video. Please excuse that in the very beginning, you might not see for the first like 2-3 seconds what I'm doing, but then you'll see it. And there's an evil victory laugh in here, kind of towards the end of it. Check this out. All right, let's see if this thing works. If I've got this correct. Push it down into the ground. Lean back on it, and holy crap, it worked! I'll be dipped. Now I just got to figure out the easy way to release what it picked up. Okay, you just do it the other way. Let's try another one. Maybe that was just a fluke. Let's try another one here. Push it down, step it down flat, tip it back. Hello. Yeah, this is gonna work. Crazy, right? I never thought I'd be so excited about pulling weeds. But I am. I just absolutely love how easy this thing works. Now, there are parts on my property that have a lot of rocks that I still haven't raked up. And obviously, those I cannot get this weeder in because of the rocks. I can't push it in. But I use a very big, long, like a boning knife. And I've had it for years. And it's the way I was taught to pull weeds out. I can use the boning knife to get around those rocks, push the rocks out of the way in the circle. Then I can use the knife to pull it up. But I'm not too worried about that. I figured, you know what? I'll rake the rocks first and then go around with the weed. So I have a lot of weeding to do now that I know it works. And I did figure out that in order to release it, I have to use my foot to kind of open the claw again and then give it, put it on the ground and use my foot to pull the weed out. And then I can go back and just rake up the weeds. Or if I want to, I can pull the weed out with my hand and drop it in the bucket or drop it on the ground. Either way, I'm not worried about it. I don't have to bend. I love this little weeder thing. All right. I think that covers what's been going on just around the corner. With the weather, everything I do, guys, has been outside. You can see my walls inside are still not finished. They're just bare sheetrock. I don't care how long I have to live with that. It's not the end of the world for me if the walls are not finished. I need to get outside done while the weather is going to accommodate me to be out there and not be passing out from the heat or the humidity. And with all the rain we're having, this is the time for me to get everything established, for getting the gardens in, getting the flowers in, the vegetables, getting the seed put down, right? And then when it's too hot to be outside, I can be inside in the air conditioner working on the inside of my little corner, right? Okay, let's talk Temu. Local warehouses. Now, let me explain something because I've gotten a few messages and a few comments from you guys. wanting to know which local warehouse you should shop. How do you know which local warehouse your items are coming from? Some of you are misunderstanding. A local warehouse is simply a warehouse. It's a storage facility. You're not shopping the warehouse. When you shop Temu, just as always, you're shopping the product that is offered by a vendor. So what you want to go by is you find the product you like, click on that product, right? Do your little search with your image search so you can find all those products, those same products from however many vendors have them. And then you find the vendor with the lowest price and or the best rating. Sometimes they will say that low return rate at this particular vendor, even though they might have a higher price. I don't worry about that. Local warehouse, you have to, how do I put this? You have to look at the ratings and you have to read what it says about returns. Some of the vendors that you will find that sell through the local warehouse, some of the vendors will say no refunds without return, or they'll say no return period. So you have to read everything, not just look at the picture and the price. You have to look at what is posted on that information. Hit that little down arrow to expand the description and scroll down and look at everything. Okay? So you're not shopping a warehouse. You're shopping the vendors. And depending on where the vendor is or where the vendor's product is stored, that's the warehouse that will ship the product out to you. Does that help clarify? All right. So local warehouse, just think of it as you're going into a mall. All right. And you're shopping all these different vendors that are in the mall. But if you want delivery, there might be the back room, the warehouse where the extra stock is kept, and that's where they ship it from. Just like if you're shopping one of the big box stores, like you're going online and you're shopping Lowe's. Well, you're not shopping the warehouse, you're shopping Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart. But your items are being shipped from the warehouse if they don't have it in the store directly to send it out. All right. So the warehouses are simply storage locations. I hope that helps. Okay. Now, refunds and returns at the local warehouse so far are still being handled the exact same way, as long as I said that particular vendor doesn't have a restriction or rules posted as to the returns. Temu is still doing refunds without returns on certain items based on the contract with the vendor. It is not Temu that makes that decision. The vendor says yes or no that they'll do a return, a refund without return on certain criterias or certain situations. Now, I've had the missing parts one. The warehouse did a reship, right? It was a warehouse item. It was a local warehouse item that I had gotten in conjunction with another item, so I didn't pay shipping. But the vendor said, yep, we'll reship you the right one. You can keep what you got. We don't care what you do with it. I also have had a couple of refunds without doing returns on, I had gotten a thing of oils, and I think I showed it to you in the last video, or no, it was in the live. I had gotten a coconut and vanilla oil, body oil, and I could smell what I thought initially was coconut until I had gotten something else that was coconut. And then when I went back and did the comparison, I'm like, wait a minute, this oil that I'm smelling is not coconut. I had one of my neighbors take a couple of sniffs off it. She said, that's not coconut, that's fruit of some sort, like a passion fruit or something along those lines. Well, sure enough, the bottle was mislabeled. So I got a refund without return simply product not as described, all right, or inaccurate web description or whatever that choice is, because it wasn't what was in the bottle. And then I had gotten that set of 12 lamps, solar lights, path lights, and I laid them all out together, to turn them all on, laid them all out together, let them charge up. That night, all but 2 or 3 of them lit up, and 2 of them, no matter what I did, they just would not light. So I tried again the next day after letting them charge some more, and still those 2 would not light. So I went back and reported damaged items. They're reshipping me, and this one was not a local warehouse. They're reshipping me the entire set of 12. Now, that was a set I had ordered from Temu when they were doing direct ship. But what Temu did is that vendor that sold it to me has a local warehouse storage. So that vendor was able to basically contact local warehouse and say, reship a set of these out to this customer. So that is something that we all have to keep in mind, that that's a possibility. All right. So far, I have not had any problems with the refunds, with returns. Customer service has been wonderful. I had one item that was, and it was a little side table that was more than 90 days since I paid for it, but it was only 65 days since I received it. And I pushed it. I said, and I was nice about it though. I contacted customer service and I said, look, I just want to make you aware that even though this product was paid for on, February 5th, I didn't receive it until February 28th, and it is less than 90 days since I actually received it. It was shipped by sea. And because she said, because it was shipped by sea, that they would give me a refund. It wasn't normal shipping where you would get it in 10 to 14 days. I waited over 30 days, almost 30 days, or maybe a little more than 30 days, if I remember. But I waited longer because it came by sea. They gave me a full refund because I was nice about it, right? You get more, what do they say? You get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, or you get more bees with honey than you do with it. Anyway, so if you have an item that was shipped by sea, I can't speak for anything else. Don't make Temu crazy with contacting them. But if you have an item that is over 90 days and it happened to be shipped by sea, and it hasn't been 90 days since it hit the US, you have a problem with it, it doesn't hurt to tell them, hey, this is the problem I've had. I don't know whether or not you consider a refund for it, but I just wanted to let you know that this is a piece of crap. It's basically what I did. So I got a full refund. It wasn't a lot, $14, $15, but hey, I'll take it. All right. Now, the next thing you guys have been hitting me up with is issues with cashing out your credits. For those of you that don't want to shop local warehouses, or maybe you just don't want to shop Temu anymore, period, even though you can still get direct ship from China, you're not in the United States and you can still get it. But for whatever reason, you've decided that you want to cash out your credits. Certain countries, you can't. And I am finding that out because of you communicating with me. Some of you have contacted me. You've told me, what country you live in, what you're trying to do, how much your credits are. And I have contacted my rep from when I was an influencer and had a verbal conversation, not a computer conversation, but an actual telephone conversation as to why this is happening. In certain countries, whatever your banking methods or payment methods are, there are restrictions about Temu being able to send credits back to your bank account. It's logistics. They couldn't give me any details. They just know that it is happening in several different countries. But it's not happening to everybody in the country. Sometimes it's credit card versus bank account, and Temu's not allowed to do anything with your bank account. You may have used a debit card to pay for your purchase, which comes across as like a debit Visa MasterCard. But when they're trying to do credit back to you, it's not the card, it's your actual bank account that it's going to go to. So they have restrictions. So you have two options. You can contact customer support and say, look, I've checked with my bank. There are no restrictions. Temu can, doesn't have, there's nothing stopping them. No regulations, no limitations by your bank or your credit card company that says Temu can't send the money back. So you would like to escalate it, have a ticket opened up so that you can get your credits moved back to your payment source. And then you can close your account, and make sure you let them know you're doing this because you want to close your account. You won't be shopping Temu anymore. You don't have to give them a reason why. That's your decision. You're not going to be doing it. The other option is use your credits. If you only have, say, $3, $4 in credits, go into clearance items. Find something that might be, 89 cents or $1 or whatever the case may be. Remember, you're going to have $2.99 shipping, right? And tax on the item. Some of you might just say, well, the third option actually is just if you don't have a lot of credits, not worth using it, close your account, let the credits go, all right? And just forget about them. Most of the credits that we all get come from price adjustments, and price adjustments are few and far between these days. All right. So hopefully y'all know what your options are. Y'all know what to do. I can't tell you how to shop or not shop. I do shop local warehouse, but right now it's for bigger things that I want for outside or that I need for outside. So I am letting my refunds and whatever price adjustments I get, I am taking them as credits and using them to shop local warehouse. But I have some good news for you. I don't know how much you guys are watching the news. Hold on a second. Okay. But it's been all over the news that Temu has increased their product selection in the local warehouses that are here in the United States, right? So we're getting more options and we're getting better prices because USA manufacturers are starting to participate more with Temu and put their products into the warehouses. Walmart's, Amazon, Big Lots, Ross for clothing. I was really shocked when I found out about that. But if you Google, do a search like USA manufacturers participating with Temu or selling through Temu, it'll give you a whole list. There's a lot of places I never even heard of, but they're the manufacturers. They're not necessarily the big stores or the box stores. But like the orange bucket I got a couple of videos ago came from Home Depot. I actually got it cheaper, including the shipping, from local warehouse than if I had gone to my local Home Depot. So stores like Home Depot and Lowe's are putting some of their products, whether it be overstock or out of, going things that maybe they're not going to be making anymore, or maybe they've redesigned or changed it. So Temu is starting to incorporate USA products into their local warehouses. So that's a good thing. That's great for US manufacturers because that produces revenue for the companies that are in the United States and their products are made in the USA. Love that idea. The other thing is, and this is international, this is for all of us, no matter where we are. Temu has started to drop those prices. They are rolling back. when all this started happening, and it's only been a matter of a few weeks, right? But when all this started happening, everybody noticed Temu prices went through the roof. It was crazy because they were trying to compensate for lost business. But now that their business model, so to speak, has been modified, and they've been able to put these arrangements in place with the local warehouses and the extra distribution centers that will send things to the local warehouses. They've gotten all their logistics in order. They've been, trust me when I say, they've been working probably 24/7 to get a grip on this and not lose the business. The United States is over 80% of the business that Temu gets. Think about that for a second. If Temu loses the sales completely, local warehouse, everything, we've already lost direct ship. If they start losing the sales and local warehouses can't pull in the USA business, all right, Temu is history. Temu is going to forget drop the mic. It's going to be like dropping a bomb on Temu. They are going to self-implode and everybody is going to lose out. I have found, because you know me, I shop for everybody. I have found, like, for example, this was about 20 some odd dollars. I think 23 or something. I didn't tell you the price on it, but I'll put the price up. I think I put the price up during the thing. That was a third of the cost of getting it anyplace else. And that even means getting it from Kmart, Walmart, Targets. It was less. Getting it through the warehouse and paying the $2.99 shipping for that one item than any place else I could find it. So I comparison shop. And in the process of doing that, I had stuff in my cart from Temu, and a couple of you told me you do the same as I do. I put the exact same item in my cart from two vendors, the two lowest price vendors I can find. Now, the vendors know when one of their items is ticked. In other words, when an item has been selected and added to a cart, because you'll see the thing, it'll say in this many carts or in that many carts, right? So they know one of their item is in the carts. And they know if a competitor has that same item and that same item is also in a cart. You will see one of those vendors will drop their price. And that's when you go, gotcha. And you go for the lowest price, right? Well, they're kind of doing this on their own. Their algorithms, the way they have it set up, what's happening is they're saying, nobody's buying the higher price stuff. Think we're dummies, right? Smarter than that. Everybody is shopping around, and I'm so proud of you all that you're comparison shopping finally and not just rapid clicking, putting things in your cart and checking out. I love that you're all comparison shopping now. This is going to help drive prices down. In my very first tips and tricks ever, my tips and tricks part 1, I talked about supply and demand and how that drives the prices. That's exactly what we're seeing now. They have a huge supply. They have next to no demand. They lost 80% of their demand when those US tariffs kicked in. 80% loss of business on their items. So what do they do when they have overstocks? Say it? What? I heard you. You say it. Yes. They drop their prices because it's better to sell something for less than not sell something at all. So supply and demand is kind of coming back to bite them. All right. And it's not their fault. The tariffs have caused all this mess. But Temu, as I said before, they're smart. All right. They know if they want to keep business, those prices have to come down. And it has been all over the news, and I'm hoping some of you have seen it, that Temu is rolling back the prices across the board, not just in direct ship, but also for local warehouse. They're getting more competitive within their vendor family, so to speak, and we're the ones that are going to benefit for it. So if they keep making these smart decisions, we may be able to hang on to shopping at Temu. Keep in mind, again, Temu's not the one that caused this problem, not directly. There's two factors that came, well, three factors that came in. The first is the new president of the United States. The second is he decided to close the de minimis loophole, allowing goods under $800 to come into the country without tax on them. And of course, then number three, Temu flooded the United States. It was a tsunami of packages. If you all remember in the beginning, the logistics problems of getting our orders, getting them on time, getting them at all, having them lost, millions of packages coming into the United States. So all those three things combined together is what brought this about. We as consumers have to be mindful. Take your time, shop where you want to shop. Those of us in the United States, we don't have the option to, at this point, I can't say of the future. Yes, I can see the future for people, but not for the company. um, those of you that can still shop Temu direct from China, hey, you know what? Temu's doing the best they can to fix what they can fix. Not everything is in their control. So bear with them. Have a little patience. They're going through a whole new set of growing pains. Those of us in the United States, we still have options. I do not shop Shine, and I know a few of you have asked me about what's going on with Shine. Let me just summarize this before I sign off. Any company, whether it's Wish, Shine, Hong Kong Direct, Temu, any company that ships goods or delivers items they sold to the United States, whether or not it's them sending it directly or them shipping a purchase, any goods coming from outside the United States will be subject to those tariffs. It doesn't matter who they come from. If they're offshore, if they're not part of the 50 states, they're going to get hit with the tariffs. So just keep that in mind. Shine, like every place else, did raise their prices. AliExpress, however, I've been watching them closely and I do have an order coming from them. They barely raised their prices. They've always had some sort of shipping options available. That did not change because they were not using the de minimis rule. So they can do things a little bit differently. And I do like their products. So far, I've been happy. Not everybody's going to be happy with them. Not everybody's going to be happy with anybody you shop from, right? They all have flaws. So keep that in mind. Outside the US, goods coming in, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you change and say, okay, well, I live in China. I don't live in the United States, but I want to send my I'm going to pay for my packages and I want them sent to the US. Sorry, you're going to get the tariffs because it's not where it's paid for from. It's where it's shipped to. Also keep in mind, anybody who tries to, and I'm going to use this word because it's what it is, fraud, Temu, can be subject to legal fines, imprisonment. There's a whole mess with anybody trying to sidestep and commit basically credit card fraud or purchase fraud by saying, oh, I live here, I live in Ireland, but I want to ship to the United States because I have a second address in the United States. Now, you have to have a verifiable address where your credit card or payment source matches the country that is tied to that payment source. And if you want to ship to the US, that's fine. I have a friend in the United Kingdom. If she wants to buy something and have it shipped to me as a gift, cool, right? But she'll have to pay the tariffs because it's being shipped to the United States. Let's keep honest, guys. All right. Let's not start messing with things and trying to find ways to illegally get around the system. There are legal ways that, shop elsewhere, shop smart, save your credits. Don't shop places that charge the high tariffs. Shop USA products. You're going through Temu withdrawal? All of us are. But Temu is doing their best to fix, as I said, what they can fix. Okay? Any more questions, guys? By all means, please leave a comment, drop me an email. I stay on top of this. I check daily. I check the big news sources every single day. If anything major comes up, I'll come up with a quick short or a little mini video to fill you guys in on. But know that I got your backs. I'm always watching everything out for you guys. I do have 6 more Temu items. I have 3 humongous boxes sitting on the front porch. Lots more going on the corner. Updates on the house, updates on Mr. Levi, updates on the updates on whatever I can update you on. More cooking to come. As soon as I order some more stuff, more cooking to come. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share it. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. We are almost at the 4,000 subscriber mark. At 5,000, that big box of stuff that I have is going to go out. And I'm going to show you. I got a box. This is how big the box is that everything's going to go out in. It's bigger than the box that I can get at the post office, the flat rate box. I had to get a bigger box, right? And that box, you know what? I'll put it in the end screen for the 5,000 video, but I've gotten a lot more and added a lot more to it. So if you're not yet subscribed, spread the word. If you have a channel of your own, spread the word to your channel. Let everybody know. Come on over to Connie's Little Corner. Subscription is free. It's the one thing that you can do to help any channel that you watch. It helps us grow. It helps us with our monetization so that YouTube AdSense pays us a little bit more so that we can buy more products and do more videos and get you what you want to see and what you want to know, right? So help us out. You guys are all in my family. If there's somebody out there that hasn't hit that subscribe button yet, it's right there. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging with me. Please stay hydrated. Above all else, please stay sweet. And I will be right here, just around the corner, the next time you see me. Bye.